Okay, so this is the second type of special right triangle. This one's a little harder because it's scalene. Scalene means there's three different sides and three different angles. In this case, the angles are 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. So you got to be a little more careful, okay? So we want to start with the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always going to be opposite the 90-degree angle. So this side is going to be 2x. So you got to memorize that, right? So then you want to go around from the hypotenuse, you want to move around the 60-degree angle. That's going to be half of the hypotenuse. Half of 2x is going to be x. So the short leg is x. The hypotenuse is 2x. So we go from the short leg to the long leg. That's going to be around the 90. So this way, you're going to multiply by rad 3. So the long leg here is going to be x times rad 3 or x rad 3. So 2x, hypotenuse, short leg x, long leg x rad 3. And this tells you the relationships of each side to each other, right? So if the hypotenuse is 10, and I go around the 60, right? If I know the hypotenuse is 10 and I want to find the short leg, well, x is half of 2x. So what's half of 10? Half of 10 is 5. So if the hypotenuse is 10, this short leg is going to be 5, right? So what if I said the hypotenuse is 20? Then the short leg would be 10 because half of 20 is 10, right? Okay, so I guess I should write divided by 2 here, going this way. Around the 60-degree angle from the hypotenuse to the short leg is going to be divided by 2. So if you go from the short leg to the hypotenuse, and of course you're going to multiply by 2, right? So if this is 7, the short leg is 7, what's the hypotenuse? Well, 7 times 2 is 14. So if this is 7, this would be 14, right? Okay. What if I told you this was rad 5? Then what's the hypotenuse? Well, rad 5 times 2 is basically 2 rad 5. So if this is rad 5, this is 2 rad 5, right? Okay, so when you go around the 60-degree angle, you're either going to divide by 2 or multiply by 2, but you got to keep them straight. So when you go from the hypotenuse to short leg, you're going to divide by 2. When you go from the short leg to the hypotenuse, you're going to multiply by 2, right? You can't get this mixed up, okay? So what if we go around the 90-degree angle? If I have the short leg, then I'm going to multiply by rad 3. So if this is 7, then this would be 7 rad 3, because 7 times rad 3 is 7 rad 3. Okay? So what if this is rad 5? Well, rad 5 times rad 3 is rad 15. So if the short leg is rad 5, the long leg is rad 15. So it doesn't matter what I give you. So if I tell you this is pi, then this side is going to be pi times rad 3 or pi rad 3, right? So of course if you go from the long leg to the short leg, long leg, short leg, you're going to divide by rad 3, right? So if I tell you this is rad 21, the long leg is rad 21, rad 21 divided by rad 3 is going to be rad 7. So if this is rad 21, this is going to be rad 7, right? So what if I told you this long leg is 5? What's 5 divided by rad 3? That's going to be 5 over rad 3, which you could rationalize, but basically the side is 5 over rad 3, 5 divided by rad 3, right? So what if I told you the long leg is pi? Same thing, you just divide by rad 3. So if this side is pi, then this side would be pi over rad 3, right? So you got to remember that when you go around the 90-degree angle, you're either going to multiply by rad 3 or divide by rad 3. But this is why it's so important to understand where these angles go, because you can't multiply and divide by rad 3 around the 60-degree angle. You have to multiply or divide by 2 around the 60-degree angle. You're going to multiply and divide by rad 3 around the 90-degree angle, plus you got to know which way you're multiplying by rad 3, which way you're dividing by rad 3. So you really have to know which one's the hypotenuse, which one's the short leg, and which one is the long leg. You really got to know the difference between all those sides and all those angles. Basically, I would discourage you from going around the 30-degree angle, because that means you're going to have to do 2 steps, which means you might as well just go this way and do 1 step at a time and be less likely to make a mistake. If you go around the 30-degree angle, you got to do a couple steps, you're more likely to make a mistake. It's just safe if you go around the 60-degree angle and then the 90-degree angle. Okay? But it doesn't matter what I give you. You're basically always going to divide by 2 or multiply by 2 and multiply by 3, rad 3, or divide by rad 3. That's it. But you got to know which side is hypotenuse, short leg, and long leg. because they could easily switch these two angles. They can make that 60, make that 30. You still need to figure out which one's the hypotenuse and which one is the short leg and which one is the long leg. So what if I did that? What if I switched this up on you? So if this is 60 and this is 30, right? Could you tell me which one the hypotenuse is? Is it this one, or this one? Okay, hopefully you picked this one because it's opposite the 90, so this is the hypotenuse, so you want to label that 2x. Okay? So then you got to figure out which one's a long leg and which one's a short leg. So you got to remember, oh, well, I need to go around the 60-degree angle from the hypotenuse this way, and I'm going to divide by 2. So this side's going to be x, right? And then from the short leg, since we know this is the short leg now, you have to find the long leg. Going from the short leg to the long leg, you're going to go around the 90-degree angle, and you're going to multiply by rad 3. So this long leg is x rad 3. Although it may not look like it from the picture, but you have to be able to distinguish that based on where these angles are, right? And I could rotate it, right? There's no reason why this has to be the right angle here. Okay, so what if I change the orientation on you, and I put 30 degrees here, 60 degrees here, 90 degrees here? Then could you tell me which one the hypotenuse is? So this side's going to be the hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle. Which one is going to be the short leg? You want to remember the short leg is around the 60-degree angle from the hypotenuse. So this is going to be the short leg, which is going to be x. And of course, from the short leg to the long leg, you're going to multiply by rad 3. So this side is going to be x rad 3. So you have to be able to orient yourself towards which angles and which sides there are because you don't know which triangle orientation that they're going to give you. So you want to be ready for everything. So hopefully you're with me still so far. So now I'm going to make these a little harder. So I'm going to try fractions because I know everybody's favorite is fractions, right? So what if I told you that this short leg was 2/3, right? How can you find the hypotenuse? Well, short leg to hypotenuse around the 60-degree angle. You're going to multiply the short leg by 2. 2 times 2/3 is going to be 4/3, right? And what if I want the long leg from the short leg? I go around the 90-degree angle. So 2/3 times rad 3 is going to be 2 rad 3 over 3. 2/3 times rad 3 is 2 rad 3 over 3, right? Okay, so what if I changed it a little more and I gave you 3/5 rad 3. So 3/5 rad 3 divided by rad 3 to go to the short leg. That's going to be 3/5. That was actually pretty simple. And then of course from 3/5 the short leg to the hypotenuse, you multiply by 2. 2 times 3/5 is going to be 6/5, right? Okay, that was actually pretty simple. So what if I tried making this pi? The long leg is pi. What is the short leg? It's going to be pi over rad 3. If the short leg is pi over rad 3, what's the hypotenuse? I'm going to multiply this by 2. So 2 times pi over rad 3 is going to be 2 pi over rad 3. Because hopefully you've just memorized the rules. When you go around the 90-degree angle, you either multiply by rad 3 or divide by rad 3. And around the 60, you either multiply by 2 or divide by 2. Okay?